I'm Carla and this is Kim, and today's class is just a little bit of shoulder work, just some basic standing poses, and we're beginning the class in Vajrasana. In Vajrasana, you can take a blanket for your shins and your knees and your ankles for some softness. The knees are together, the toes are together so that when you sit down, each buttock bone is on each heel. Feel the outer ankles coming in so you're not spreading the heels apart. And if you're unable to get this ankle extension in the front, then stack up a few blankets and have your toes just hanging off the edge. In Vajrasana, the spine tall, the chest well open. If this is agonizing for your knees, if you have any knee injuries, if it's horrid on your ankles, if you've had ankle injuries, then rather just sit in a cross-legged position. Otherwise, from Vajrasana, feel the contact between the heels and the buttock bones. Lift through the sides of the body, lift the spine up, open up the chest, and bring the hands together in the prayer position. We'll begin the class with the 3 arms, so close your eyes. Just being in Vajrasana, being with your breath. The spine erect and the chest well open. Drop your chin down. Release your hands into your lap, and on an inhalation, lift your head up and open your eyes. We're coming to Badangulyasana, so interlace the fingers, turn the palms so that that zigzag of the hand opens up and you're extending the arms up over your head. You're trying to keep the thumbs from escaping. You're trying to keep moving the arms back behind the ears, lock the elbows. Breathe, moving the weight back to the feet. Release the arms, change the cross of the fingers so the other index finger is on top. Turn the palms and extend the arms up. So Parvatasana. Parvatasana usually done with the legs in Virasana. We are in Vajrasana. And then release and come down. If you need to take a break in between and just lift yourself onto all fours and extend the legs, you do. And in Vajrasana, when you were on that shin, you felt from the center shin to the center back ankle a full contact with the floor. And in Virasana, you're trying to keep that shin bone on the floor also. Virasana, you're going to take a brick to sit on. You might need to put it on a taller height. You might need to take more 2 bricks or a bolster, and you're sitting on the brick in between the 2 feet. The feet have to dovetail out. So your knees come together, your feet dovetail out. And as you sit down, what you learned from Vajrasana, the center of the knee, the center of the shin, that has to stay in contact with the floor of Virasana. You're not allowing the ankles to turn and the knees to turn. So once you are seated, keep the outer thighs rolling down, keep lifting up the spine. Parvatasana is classically done in Virasana. Again, if you're uncomfortable here with your knees or anything, please rather take a seated cross-legged position. Interlace the fingers again for Pavamuktasana. Turn the palm out. This time, bring the hands just to float above the head, elbows back, chest is lifted, and then keeping that clenching in of the shoulders, extend the arms up. As you extend the arms up, you lock the elbow. You want to feel that you're still breathing and that you're opening up the side ribs and extending the arms up in that manner. You need to lift the thumb side, lift the small finger side. You might sometimes have to check out for yourself which side is taller to adjust, and then release. You're going to change the interlock of the fingers. When you lift, try to not grab these top shoulder muscles. So softening the neck, bring the hands above, elbows back. Feel when you take the elbows back, how the shoulder blades come in. As you bring the shoulder blades in and the chest opens, can you quieten the abdomen and the front ribs back? And then when you're ready, lock the elbows, extend the arms, extend the inner wrist, the outer wrist. Keeping the elbows locked, you're opening the armpits, but you're softening the top shoulder and you're opening from the side ribs. When you've been there for a few breaths, release and rest your arms. Gomukhasana, one arm is up and one arm comes underneath. So I'm not able to do Gomukhasana as yet. I will just then use a strap for the top hand when you take the bottom hand under. So it is the first Gomukhasana really. If you haven't quite warmed up your shoulders and your arms, go carefully. And from here, you're going to, again, take the right arm up, roll this outer right arm in, and bring the hand in between the scapula. Here, this right arm hangs heavy on the head. You need to keep the head lifted to keep the chest lifted. So this arm has to move back. You can use your left arm to move it back. Keep that right elbow pointing up to the ceiling. And then when you extend the left arm, you're wrapping it underneath and you're creeping it up the back. And you just keep working at reaching the hands to touch. And then hopefully you can grab hold onto the fingers. Maybe you're flexible enough to grab your hand, but you're just working towards clasping your hands behind your back. This left side of the body tends to drop. You want to lift that left side of the chest and roll that left shoulder back and still breathe. And then you want to release the arms. You can rest gently for a little bit. And left arm comes up. So with the right arm, you can manually coil that tricep in towards the face. With the right arm, you can move that arm behind your ear. Once the arm is bent, point that left elbow up to the ceiling, and then right arm swings underneath. And when you take the right arm, notice how the body collapses. You have to then lift up that right side of the chest. Keep breathing. Keep lifting that left elbow up. Keep breathing. Right elbow, tuck it in and down. Keep breathing. And then release the arms, hands at your sides. And coming up, just extend one leg at a time so that you can release. You don't need to shake it about. You don't need to stretch it up in the air. Just nice, soft release there. We're coming now to Adho Mukha Virasana. So Virasana, the knees were together. The seated warrior, the knees are together. The feet were apart for us to sit on the brick. In Adho Mukha Virasana, the big toes are together and the knees are apart. So be near the back of your mat, because from Adho Mukha Virasana, we will be coming to Adho Mukha Svanasana. So come to Adho Mukha Virasana. In Adho Mukha Virasana, you want the knees wide enough so that the sides of the body supported by that inner thigh. Buttocks stay grounded and you're extending the arms forward. You want to stretch the arms as far forward as you can so that you're opening this armpit region. And as you coil the arm towards the face in Gomukhasana, here also, that tricep has to coil towards the face so that this top shoulder is free. You're going to come up without moving the distance between the hands and the knees. Come up onto all fours, turn the toes under, feet or hip distance apart, and you're coming to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Adho Mukha Svanasana is downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, you're pressing into the hands, stretching the arms, and that same openness that you had, that extension, openness in the side body that you had in Parvatasana, you want to find that length in the side body here. You press into the hands, and with that pressure, you move the root of the thigh back, You move above and below the knee back, and you try to extend your heels back also. Don't just think of moving down to the floor. Keep the lift of the buttock bones, keep the sacrum into the body. And when you've had enough, when you've held for your capacity, you're going to release and come back to Adho Mukha Virasana. So Adho Mukha Virasana, the knees are wide, toes are together. You're just finding some quietness here. Going to come to one more Adho Mukha Svanasana. So here, once you're in the pose, lock the elbows. You're trying to lift the forearms away from the floor, but keep the palm pressed down. You're also trying to still keep that coiling of the triceps in towards the face. And then from the outer lat region, you lengthen up, you narrow yourself. Beautiful. And by releasing the head and bringing the shoulder blades into the body, you open the armpit more. And that armpit opening is quite important for Gomukhasana that we did previously. Release, coming to Adho Mukha Virasana. And coming up, we're preparing now for Tadasana. So coming to standing in Tadasana. In Tadasana, you've got your feet together. With the feet together, classic Tadasana, the hands are at your sides. When you come to Urdhva Hastasana and you lift your arms up, don't bring the body forward to take the arms back. So keeping the thighs strong, keeping the abdomen firm, you're lifting up. As you lift up, again, lock the elbows. See, can you get that length in the sides of the body? Can you get that armpit to open exactly like you had Adho Mukha Svanasana a moment ago? Are you still getting that curl of the tricep in? Is this top shoulder soft, or are you completely hunching the shoulders to the ears? When you've been there for a few breaths, release the arms down. Padangulyasana, when we interlace the fingers in the seated position, is also nice to do in Tadasana. So once again, interlacing the fingers, feet are together, legs are firm, extend the arms in front of you. For a moment, just feel, can you let the arms go all the way forward, the upper back will round, and then can you retract the arms back and lift the breastbone? And keeping that breastbone lifted, get the arms up and behind the ears. Keeping the breastbone lifted, can you temper the front ribs back? Can you keep the front thighs back? Breathe. Lock the elbows, reach up with the arms, breathe. Relax the jaw and the teeth if you're hardening there, breathe, and release the arms down, have a rest. Change the interlocking of the fingers. And we go again. So if it was helpful for you to begin getting the shoulder blade action by working into it with bent arms, then you can do the same thing that you did when you were seated to come to Padangulyasana. You're breathing, feel an openness in the chest and the armpits and the side of the chest. Breathe. And with each breath, with each exhalation, can you soften the top shoulder? Can you relax the jaw? On an exhalation, release the hands. Come back to Tadasana. Relax the hands right from the shoulders to the fingertips. Let that whole area, the whole upper limb just soften. We're going to use our bricks now for Parsvottanasana. Parsvottanasana is a standing pose. It's a standing forward bend. And you'll need the bricks at the right side of your mat. We'll stand in the middle of the mat in Tadasana. When you're coming into a standing pose, you start in Tadasana, and in this Tadasana position, can you already get the legs strong, arms active, spine extended, come to your full Tadasana. In this full Tadasana, bring your fingertips to the chest, and you'll either step or jump the feet apart. And now, Parsvottanasana, because we're going to be taking the hands onto bricks, bring your hands onto your hips for now. And feel that same openness across the collarbones, and the elbows, move them back, almost like you're standing like a superhero. Yeah. Where your fingers are touching your hips in front, think of those 2 points as the headlights of a car. You're now going to turn that left foot deeply in, turn the right foot all the way, and especially turn your car's headlights to face the right side of your mat. Keep pressurizing into the feet. The bricks are near the ankle. Keep weight into the back foot, lift the breastbone, and with strong legs, as you exhale, you're going to go forward with your chest, but keep the thighs lifted and drawing back. Hands come to the bricks. Thighs are strong. You have to especially lift this right thigh and take that left hip bone forward so that the sacrum can become level. You want your sacrum not just to be level, but to be into the body. Back leg strong. Don't be hasty to go into the full forward bend. Rather see, can you find an extension in the front body? Can you firm up the legs? Can you find a little bit of balance and stability here? As the thighs and the roots of the thighs draw back, the breastbone extends forward. Keep the back of the neck long. Shoulders away from the ears. Legs are firm. Keep drawing up the muscles of the legs. And then if you're flexible enough to begin dropping your bricks down without completely compromising that extension of the front body, then start to get your bricks lower. Keep that firmness in the legs, that evenness in the sacrum. Breathe. Parvottanasana, to try and find some balance in the pose. You want to really stand on the feet and imagine that you're ripping the mat apart. So strongly into the feet, thighs back, lift your chest on an inhalation to come up. Turn the feet. And you can always bring your feet together in Tadasana, especially if you're a beginner, if you're not very strong and you need a rest. Otherwise, we'll come straight to the other side. You'll move your bricks. And you're going to turn the right foot deeply and turn the left foot, turn the hips. Maintain that openness in the chest, strong into the feet. You could probably take your feet a little bit wider. So don't be afraid to go wide with the legs unless you have an injury. And then with strong feet, strong legs, come forward to Parsvottanasana on the bricks. This Parvatasana on the bricks is an opportunity for you to find some stability, some familiarity, some balance in this pose. Feel what work the legs have to do to get the hips to become level. So the back leg is strong, but that back hip has to come forward. So as you take that right inner thigh forward, think about how the right inner thigh has to move back and the right outer thigh must come forward. Lengthen the left side of the waist by moving the root of the left thigh back and up to level of the sacrum. The spine moves into the body and you extend the breastbone forward as you push into the feet and move the thighs back. When you've been there for a few breaths, if you can drop the bricks, if you can get lower into Parsvottanasana, you do. Keep working that stability of the legs, that evenness in the sacrum. And then to come up, remember to keep the legs absolutely strong, strong into the legs and the feet, lifting up, turning the feet and stepping together. Well done. It's a tough one when you have your feet wide for so long.
It does.
Okay, and it's tiring on the legs, especially if you are working them properly. Right, so this is Namaskarasana. Namaskarasana is bringing the hands into the prayer position in front of the body. And Paschim Namaskarasana is taking the hands into the prayer position behind the back. Now, I still can't do it very well, but if you wouldn't mind turning around and just showing. So once you've got the hands in at the back, you're trying to keep the palms to touch. So the index finger mound must touch. And the wrist bone, if you think about your inner wrist bone being facing the floor, so the outer wrist bone has to creep up the back and the inner wrist bone must drop down so that this inner wrist faces the floor. And then you're opening up across the shoulders, the wings move back and down. Right. So turning around, Parsvottanasana, number 2 is done with the hands in Paschim Namaskarasana. So step the feet apart or jump them. It's a bit awkward jumping with your hands behind your back. Now you don't have bricks, you don't have hand support. So you're going to turn to the right, turn the hips, inhale, lift the chest, strong legs, exhale, go down. You want to feel strong and stable in the legs. You want to keep ripping the feet into the mat. You want to keep squaring off the hips as much as you can. And you only hold it as long as you can. The hands, you're trying to keep them together, and they're a reminder to dig that dorsal in to maintain the extension in the front body. You come up leading with the breastbone, turn the feet, widen the legs, hands touch again, and now exhale, turn to the left. As you turn to the left, that right foot and right hip have to move and go. When you come forward, feel strong in the legs. Try to focus on extension and strength, not just balance, so that you are a little bit more focused. Just be with your breath. Each exhalation, dig into the feet and the legs. When you're ready to come up, use the inhalation to lift up the chest, strong legs, turn the feet, and then bring the feet together, bring the hands at the sides, come to Tadasana. In this Tadasana, you just soften again, soften the shoulders, the elbows, the arms, the hands. Just catch your breath. Prasarita Padottanasana is a forward extension, and it is done often as preparatory for head balance. So stepping the feet wide, you're bringing the hands in front on the floor. If you need bricks, you take bricks. You're trying to keep that same extension of the spine that you maintain throughout your forward bends. Legs are firm. And then as you exhale, you move your hands back and you slowly start to descend from the sacrum down towards the back of the head, taking the head down in between the feet. So this gives you a feeling of starting to be upside down. It's a good way to start if you're wanting to get into Shirshasana. If you do Shirshasana, you're welcome to pause the video and do Shirshasana here. But we are going to repeat Prasarita Padottanasana, if you're able to, with the hands behind the back in Paschim Namaskarasana. Right, so when you've been there for a few moments, come up, strong legs, strong spine, come up, and now fix the hands in Paschim Namaskarasana. Lift your chest, inhale, and maintaining that lovely extension, exhale and go. So the legs have to be strong. They have to hold you now. And you have to balance. So let go the head. Let go from the sacrum. That extension you found in the side ribs, try to find it here. Let go the head. And shoulder blade area, digging into the body. Strong legs when you're ready to come up. Firm up the knees. Strong legs. Inhale. And up you come. Release the arms. So Prasarita Padottanasana is done with the hands in Paschim Namaskarasana. Just relax the arms here, soften the top shoulder, relax any areas where there may have been tightness. Ardha Uttanasana is half Uttanasana. Half Uttanasana is often done on bricks if you can't reach the floor, but it's also done as a restorative. So you can take bricks if you need. You're going to take your buttocks to the wall. You want your feet a full foot distance away from the wall. Feet hip distance apart, and then you can manually slide the flesh of the buttocks up the wall and release yourself into Ardha Uttanasana. Buttocks are into the wall. You want to kind of feel a soft, quiet release down. If you're not resting the buttocks in the wall, if you're very tight and this isn't restful for you, have bricks for your hands. Otherwise, let the elbows and the forearms pull down, getting a little bit more of a relaxed, extended forward bend. And you're going to change the cross of the forearms. If you did do a Shirshasana head balance in your practice, you would finish off with the shoulder balance. And when you're ready, you're going to come up out of the Uttanasana, stand in Tadasana for a little while. And you're coming to lie on your back. So if you don't yet practice shoulder balance, you can start working into Setubandha. So lying on your back. Setubandha classically is done where you take the brick underneath the tailbone. Your knees are bent, your feet are hip distance apart. The brick is under the tailbone and you're rolling that outer upper arm in. Okay, you'll see it brings the chin and the chest together in this Jalandhara Bandha shape, and the back of the neck is nice and long and released. If you don't have a brick, you can, they're so easy to find. You can even just use a construction brick covered in newspaper. But you can also start doing this action for yourself without the brick. So removing the brick, just extend the spine from the neck to the buttocks to bring the spine flat. And then pressing into the feet, you can lift the buttocks up, getting work into the hamstrings, still bringing the chest to the chin. So if you are wanting to begin shoulder balance, start with Setubandha and then now release. Okay. And you can take a blanket for your head. If you are not comfortable lying flat in Shavasana, then you can also have a bolster for underneath the knees. It does just give a little bit of softness to the curvature of the back. So the blanket under the head supports the head and the neck, also gives a little bit of softness. You begin Shavasana with your knees bent so that the back waist is long. And you'll notice Kim looked up. So when you look up, you make sure that from your nose to your breastbone to your navel, everything is in a straight line. Then extending the legs one at a time. Just relax the leg right from the hip. So you roll from the inner thigh out, the foot flops out to the side. The arms also have to come away from the body, and you also are rolling from the inner arm out and the palm faces up to the ceiling. Back of the neck is long, but the skin from the base of the neck down the shoulders, down the shoulder blade region, that skin all needs to move down the back and not be hunching up and not be pinched. The flesh of the buttocks also away from the back waist, which is why starting with bent knees is quite helpful. Once you've been there and you feel that your body feels comfortable, you're not holding any tension anywhere, close your eyes. With the eyes closed, you're just taking soft inhalations and soft exhalations here. Each exhalation, just completely release, let go to Mother Earth. The inhalations hold you present in the Shavasana state, and the exhalations are useful to let go of tension in the body, to let go of any thoughts or distractions. Exhalation is also powerful in terms of removing toxicity from the body. So with each exhalation, let go of anything that you don't need to hold on to. Exhalations helping you to sink into this quiet Shavasana state. You can be in Shavasana for as long as you need, as long as you have time for. Do you want to come out of your Savasana quietly, almost reluctantly? So first, just take your focus to your breath. Let the inhalations become a little bit fuller. Bring your hands anywhere on your abdomen to rest where it's comfortable for you. And once again, connect with the breath. Those inhalations feeding that vital pranic energy to every cell of the body. On the next breath in, you're stretching your arms over your head, giving your body a long, deep stretch. You can yawn or sigh the breath out. And then bending the knees. You're going to lazily roll onto your right side, cradling your head in your right arm, knees curled into the chest, left side of the body holding you still in this quiet Shavasana state. When the eyes feel ready to open, you're going to use your left hand. Finish rolling, bring the head up last. Come to any comfortable seated position. In the seated position, just keep the eyes closed so that you can keep that internal focus for a moment longer. With the hands in the prayer position, begin to take deeper breaths, fuller inhalations, lifting the spine, opening the chest. That inhalation bringing you back to full consciousness. A small smile on your face. Have a moment here of gratitude for the health and strength of your body. On the next breath in, let the eyes gently flutter open and focus. Namaste. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Kim.